Hello and welcome back to our channel, and if you're new here, welcome. I'm Heather from Mindset Made Better, and last week we talked about staying away from people who make you feel like you're hard to love and how having an anxious attachment style can make us more vulnerable to being in those kinds of toxic situations. So for this week's video, I want to go a little more in depth about how our attachment styles impact our relationships. But before we get into it, if you love personal growth and self-improvement, you have come to the right place. Each week we put out a video that goes along with our articles over on mindsetmadebetter.com. Over there we have daily posts of great quotes, and we apply those teachings to modern times. So if you enjoy this kind of content, please consider subscribing to our channel. Okay, let's get into it. This week's quote is, "If you don't see your own worth, you will always choose people who don't see it either." And I think this goes hand in hand with what we talked about in our last video. What we believe about ourselves influences what we attract. These thoughts develop in our childhood and how we interact and relate with those around us. But sticking with our beliefs for a minute, what we believe about ourselves creates a filter in which we see the world. And these beliefs not only come from our childhood, but all of our life experiences. And this filter, which resides in our reticular activating system in our brains, neatly files information that we receive into, say, different boxes. And this helps us make sense of it all. Our brains do this because if it didn't, we would be overwhelmed by everything we notice or experience on any given day. Now, if we struggle to see our worth, our brains will actively seek out information, or evidence, if you will, to push through the filter that validates and confirms what we believe about ourselves. Our brains will purposely seek out people who confirm the negative or positive beliefs that we have about ourselves. And this is why we will often seek constant reassurance from our partner if we have an anxious attachment style. On the surface, we're seeking reassurance, but we typically select a partner who has more of an avoidant attachment style. Why? Because how they treat us confirms what we believe deep down inside about ourselves. Now, going back to attachment styles, think of it as a way of relating to others. It's kind of like a blueprint that we develop in early childhood on how to relate to other people based on what our relationship was like with our primary caregivers. And we carry this blueprint along with us as adults. Now, I'm going to do a very broad overview on attachment styles and describe what it looks like inside a relationship as an adult. This is not meant to be super comprehensive, just a basic overview. So people with a secure attachment feel confident in both their relationship and being alone and independent. They don't have to do everything together, they can have different interests and friends, and that isn't seen as a threat to the relationship by the other person. They can correctly prioritize their needs as well as the relationship's needs and can draw clear boundaries and stick to them. They will comfort their partner when they're distressed, and they'll also be vulnerable and seek out comfort and support when they need it as well. Now, someone with an anxious attachment is preoccupied with the relationship. They feel a constant need for reassurance and affection from their partner. Being alone is intolerable, and they fear abandonment. They're externally focused for love and validation. Like I said earlier, oftentimes a person who has an anxious attachment style will seek out someone who is avoidant. But even with a partner who has a secure attachment, this can be very overwhelming for that partner because there's a lot of pressure on them to keep the other person happy. Someone with an anxious attachment will usually end up creating exactly what they fear the most, which is abandonment. They feel threatened by their partner having outside interests or friends, and they end up pushing them away. With an avoidant attachment style, there are two different types: dismissive avoidant and fearful avoidant. A dismissive avoidant feels afraid of and incapable of tolerating true intimacy. They usually deprioritize romantic relationships and seem to turn off their feelings in emotional situations. They kind of dismiss the idea of intimacy and connecting with someone else. A fearful avoidant actually feels afraid of being close to others, but also is afraid of being too distant. They try to suppress their feelings, but their anxiety is so high that they often experience intense emotional responses. They want to feel safe with others, but they operate from a place where they believe others will hurt them if they get too close. They have major fears of being abandoned, but they are also quick to feel engulfed by closeness. So, you can see some very real challenges that you may have in your relationships if you have two people where one person is anxious and the other is avoidant. There's going to be a lot of drama, and it's going to be an endless roller coaster ride with many intense highs and lows. The good news is that it's never too late to create a secure attachment style. How we love people as adults can be healthier than how we learn to attach to others as children. And once you understand your attachment style, you can start to challenge and dismantle faulty beliefs that you may have about yourself and others and what to expect in relationships. You can learn how you may be avoiding closeness with people and overcome that, or you can develop a healthier interdependence on your relationship that is mutual and balanced rather than an unhealthy dependence. In our last video, I talked about how you can develop more of a secure attachment style, so I will link that down below. But that is going to do it for this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Thank you for spending time with me today, and I hope that you found this video helpful. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel, and be sure to hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of our weekly videos. So until next time, stay healthy, stay positive, and remember, you have the power to rewrite your scripts, and you can change your attachment style so that you can have a relationship that is healthy and fulfilling. We'll see you next time.